Michael Finn is the speaker of the week. And if you want to do a little bit of a bio and then go in, you've got 12 minutes, but you've got whatever time you want to take.
All right. So I'm gonna close that. I was gonna try to share my screen and do some things, but I've been having Zoom issues for the last day, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna talk and do it all here. So yes, I'm Michael Finn, and I'm a holistic exercise and lifestyle coach. And I've been doing this for over 20 years now, at least professionally. But in all reality, I've been doing this ever since I was 14. So little background history on me. So my father was a Navy Seabee. And so when I was born, he was stationed on the island of Adak in Alaska, which is the second to last island in the Aleutian chain, about 50 miles off the coast of the former Soviet Union. And all of our food was brought in by boat. It was mostly all processed and stuff like that. We had very few fresh things and all that sort of stuff. So by the age of 2.5, I was very malnourished and had developed a skin rash, which unfortunately the local doctor on the island at the military base misdiagnosed, and he gave me medication for what was a vitamin B deficiency. And he also, on top of that, gave me the adult dosage instead of the dosage for the instead of a 2-year-old, and that destroyed 80 to 85% of the axons in my optic nerve. So my eyes function just fine, but the signal from my retina to my brain gets completely cut off along the way, and my brain has to fill in the gaps and things like that. So, and so that's kind of how my life started off from then. And then that also made learning more challenging and difficult. And so, as well as my parents were primarily told that, okay, well, you have a son with a severe disability and he's never really going to amount to anything. So by the time I was 14, I had basically been put on the couch, given cookies to eat. You can watch TV, whatever, even though, I had to sit like, a few inches away from it to actually see it. Things like that. So I'd become very out of shape and overweight. I was about 5'4" and about 220 pounds.
Wow.
And I really wanted to play sports and be more active and get into things. So as I was in high school, I tried to actually get into that, but I was too big and not nearly strong enough, and didn't have the physical abilities that a lot of other kids had, from the combination of being able to learn visually, as well as the exposure to just normal physical activity of, going out and riding bikes every day or playing ball in the park every day or things like that. So that was when I took it upon myself, because I wasn't getting any help really from anybody else, to get some books. And I had a machine that I have over here sitting to the right of me, not this particular one, that blow print up onto big screens so that I can read books and all that other kind of stuff, because they didn't have a lot of audible things like they do now. And so I started educating myself on exercise and nutrition and everything, to where by the time I graduated high school, just before I turned 18, I was then what I am now, 6 feet, 6'1", somewhere in that ballpark, and 175 pounds. So, and was, running and getting involved in things. And so then I moved on into college and got on the track team and started running track, which led to getting involved with the United States Association for Blind Athletes, and competing in the Paralympics. So in 1992, I went to Barcelona, Spain, and represented the United States in the Paralympics, competing in the 200 and 400 meter sprints on the track. And then in 94, I'd actually made a switch. I'd gone to the Olympic Training Center and I'd been training very hard for the sprints, but never quite, I'd make it to the finals, but I was, didn't really ever have a shot at a medal. It wasn't quite fast enough to get to a medal. And so I went to them. I went to the Olympic Training Center for a big training camp. And I said, hey, what can I really do? And they were like, watching me. And they said, well, are you really good at a lot of things? And I said, yeah, I've had to try a lot of things to get to where I'm at. And I said, I picked things up really quickly and I do really well. And they said, you need to become a multi-eventer. You need to do things like pentathlons and decathlons where you do 5 to 10 events over 1 or 2 days in track and field. So, and I went, oh, great. That means I need to learn how to pole vault. So I'm like, well, this ought to be fun. So I spent the next year conditioning for all of that, went to the track and field world championships in Germany. We were like one of the first American teams to compete in the East German Olympic Stadium there in Berlin, and competed in multi-events there. And I placed 5th at the World Championships there in 1994. And at the same time, I was looking into the fact that, I knew my track and field career was going to be, wrapping up. And I needed to start, getting involved in, making some kind of a better income and having a life for me. I'd taken a lot of business classes in college because all of the college guidance counselors and things like that said that I could not follow a health and fitness career as a visually impaired person. But they said I was really good at math and I was really good at business, so that was the way I needed to go. And so I listened to them because they were supposed to be smarter than me. And they probably were in some ways. So I got into a coffee business, which was very lucrative. And I was in that for 8 years, but it was killing me because I was not really following my passion, and I was watching the health of my clientele just go downhill. I just could not stand it, as well as watching, regular clientele switching what they were doing. I would provide healthy things and I would, put lots of posting about all of the healthy things, but no one ever really went there. I was also tucked in amongst, this was in Sacramento, so I was tucked in amongst a bunch of state buildings. So most of my clientele were state workers that I saw, same people day in, day out, things like that. But I learned a lot in the process, especially as how important what you put into your body is to how your body performs, as well as what it looks like. So I decided to go out on my own against everybody's wishes and start getting more and more education and certifications in the health and fitness industry. So, and get involved with becoming some sort of, health and fitness practitioner of some type. So I currently hold certifications and licenses as a holistic health practitioner, a neuromuscular massage therapist, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, a corrective holistic exercise practitioner, strength and conditioning specialist. I could go on and on and on. If you go on my website and look at my about page, there is a list on there of all of the different things that I've acquired. I spend about $5,000 a year continuing my education every single year. And that's why I've pretty much kind of made up the name of holistic exercise and lifestyle coach, because primarily what I really do is I am a life and lifestyle coach while I exercise with people, massage people, or even just, if that's even too much, just sit and talk with people. And so what I do is I take all of the challenges that people have in front of them, because I have knocked, I don't even know how many impossibility walls out of my own way to get where I'm at. As well as, run through and gone through so many hurdles to be successful at what I'm doing, with everybody basically telling me I couldn't. I can't stand it when somebody tells me they can't. And I do not accept that as an answer. So everybody can accomplish whatever they want to accomplish. It's a matter of, are you willing to put energy into what you want to accomplish? And the same thing goes even with this group. If we all want to be better in business and if we all want to move forward, we have to put energy into that activity. So those are the things that I instill in my clients. And I basically start with what they are most comfortable dealing with. So most people come to me in the idea that they're going to get some form of stretching or exercise or something along those lines. And that's where I will typically start. And then as they start to have success with that, I will build out on that model from there, saying, okay, well, if we want to get a little bit more, well, then we need to make sure that you're getting to bed on time. And maybe you're doing something like, improving blue light by, like for me at 7 o'clock at night, blue light blocker glasses go on so that I start setting my circadian rhythm, and so that my cortisol levels can go down and my melatonin levels can go up so that I can recover better while I'm sleeping, so that now when I go to bed, I'm out. As soon as I lay down, my body's ready to go to sleep. It goes out, I recover, I get better rest, I dream every single night. I wake up rested in the morning and my body's ready to go. It improves hormonal balance. It does tremendous things. So that's one of 1,000 things that I use in my practice with all of my clients and implement them slowly and steadily. It's like, okay, I'll typically throw out 3 things to somebody. So maybe it's like blue light blocker glasses. Maybe it's having a big glass of water first thing in the morning. And maybe it is going for a walk every day. And I'll say, how many of those do you think you can accomplish? Can you do 1? Can you do 2? Or can you do all 3? And I will let them choose. And then they'll pick and I'll go, good. So now let's master that. So then every time I see them or every time they text me or every time we email back and forth, it's like, okay, how are we doing on those 1, 2, or 3 things that you're working on? Are you mastering them and getting them into your daily routine? So, and then also, what are the results? How are you feeling? So I have one of the things I was going to show you today. So my whole website is set up to where people get an account. They can log in, they have access to, I have countless numbers of assessments that I can assign them and questionnaires so that they can see where they're at. They can see past results of what they used to be filling out as to how much pain they were in and that sort of thing. And it's all graphed out to where it's like now their pain levels have gone down and their stress levels have gone down. Their sleeping patterns have improved. Their hormonal balances have improved. And then, weight, cholesterol numbers, whatever else, it's depending upon where they, start. And then on top of that, they also have access to all of the assigned material that I will send them. So I have videos of Tai Chi exercises that I've created. I make 1 or 2 videos almost every single week and add them to my website so that I can send them off to clients and say, here's a meditation video to teach you how to start a 5-minute meditation practice every day, or some Tai Chi motion for improving breathing, quieting the mind, reducing stress, getting some nerve flow through the shoulders and the joints, because so many people are so closed up and so tight that the nerve plexus have just completely been squeezed and they are no longer getting proper circulation through the nerve brachial plexus and everything else. And so I've got to open that up, and Tai Chi is one of the ways that I've been able to get, people to do that.
Michael,
Go ahead. Yeah.
I just technically your 12-minute time is up.
Okay.
If you want to wrap it, then there could be a couple minutes of questions.
Sure. So let me say this one quick thing, because this is an important point. So everybody thinks that you need to exercise a whole ton. So it's not how it works. I've only worked out one day this week so far. It's already Thursday. So I work with people once a month, twice a month, once a week, and twice a week. It depends upon what they can do, and how much they really need me, and financially. So it's not a matter of, you got to go kill yourself. It's not what it's about. It's a matter of doing things in the right and appropriate ways. So, and now I'm more than happy to open up for questions.
Michael, Dennis here.
Yes.
Very inspiring. Really appreciate the fact that how you've negotiated and navigated those hurdles on the track as well as in life. Very inspiring. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
I like the fact that you don't adhere to that no pain, no gain ethic, and
Very
that
much
you
so.
have a modest approach to your clients, depending upon where they're starting. And the comprehensiveness of your practice is very awesome, too. So, well said. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, really good talk, Michael. Really enjoyed it as well, and was really interested about when you were talking about sleep. And I know sleep seems to be kind of underrated. People almost brag about their lack of sleep, and someone was telling me about a book that he's reading. I was interested in getting it, called Why We Sleep. I'm wondering, have you ever heard of that book?
I've heard of it. I haven't read it. I have about 300 books that I'm trying to, it's like one of my clients just texted me today about a book. He's like, "Oh, have you heard of this book?" And I said, "Yeah, I got it. I haven't got to it yet." It's like, there's only so much time, in a given day. But I can't, sleep is your number one recovery tool. Absolutely. If you have pain, if you have discomfort in any way. So as a simple little statistic number, because I love numbers, in the year 1900, the average American slept 4,200 hours a year. Average American now sleeps about 2,300 hours a year. The amount of sleep is cut in half over the last 100 years.
Wow.
And it is tremendous. I cannot tell you. When I get my clients to actually go to sleep, they do it properly by resetting the circadian rhythm and getting everything going that way. They are astonished at how different they feel. So
what do you think about sleeping, during the day, like a siesta type of short sleep?
Naps are awesome. There has been so many studies done on the brain health, and brain function and cognitive abilities after anywhere between 5 to 20 minute nap. So you go beyond the 20-minute kind of zone, and the body kind of starts to go into a nighttime kind of sleep. If you're getting really good nighttime sleep, it's great. But if someone's really exhausted, like I'm sure we all know somebody that has a tendency to fall asleep really easily, no matter where they are. Those people are so sleep deprived and they don't know it. And those people, their naps are important, but if they go beyond that 20-minute, their body's so exhausted, it actually goes into nighttime sleep mode, and they can't come back out of it very well. And they're actually more tired after the nap.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
And do you, just out of curiosity, when you distinguish that 5 to 20, that sounds like a meditation type of time period. Do you distinguish between a nap versus a meditation, or do you can that be the same thing as when you?
Yeah, it can be. But more of meditation is, well, especially in this day and age, learning to be quiet with yourself and willing to listen to the own thoughts in your own brain and not cover them up with your phone and YouTube and the TV and Netflix, but listening to what your own heart and your own brain are trying to tell you, because most people aren't listening anymore.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's where I want the meditation in there, is to, because people go, oh, I can't quiet my mind. And I said, that's because your mind has something to tell you. So it's trying to talk to you and you need to start listening. So, you know, what do relationship coaches talk with a lot of people about is like, you know, well, are you actually listening to your other partner, or are you just trying to talk over them and get your point across? Make sure you're listening to your own partner. Well, make sure you're listening to yourself, making sure you listen to your own mind and what your own mind is telling you. My own mind was telling me, you love the health and fitness thing. You need to do it. You're going to be good at it. I finally listened. It took me a long time, but I finally listened, and I love my life. I'm just like, you know, Dr. David said, I'm living the dream.
Well, thank you. I think we'll wrap, unless anyone else had a quick question. I would highly recommend visiting Michael at his studio / home. It's a pretty cool setup he has there with the garage conversion, I assume. And I know you'll meet people at the track or wherever, as depending what the certain, you'll meet them on the racquetball court.
If that's what the need is, that's, you know, what I do. So, you know, because it's the other part. It's, I adapt to what, you know, a particular person's, you know, needs are. It's why I had a Zoom meeting with a client last night. So, because that's what she needs. She needs a Zoom meeting. So, and so that's what I do.
Right. So yeah, so I highly recommend having a one-to-one